Ho, ho, ho.
Welcome to Christmas on my channel. I'm going to show you some recipes that are going to make your Christmas extra delicious. We're going to make perfect Christmas gravy, make a beautiful stock. Christmas, as somebody who writes recipes for a living, Christmas is such a tricky time of year because you always roll out the same recipes every year, and people have a kind of emotional attachment to the things that they make. So persuading people to make something different is really hard. So it's kind of like baby steps. These recipes are kind of at home in the tradition of Christmas. There's nothing crazy going on, but I just want to show you how to do it really, really, really well and understand the techniques and the flavors and how you can make your Christmas cooking really easy, but really delicious and really, really good and stress-free and merry. So you can just drink brandy and be merry. Gravy is kind of like the backbone of the plate, right? Because it kind of brings everything together. So we want it to be delicious, rich, delicious. You can do this way, way, way in advance. I would usually do this like a week in advance. You could do this in November, freeze it, defrost it, it's ready to go. Stock making, a real kind of foundational skill in the kitchen, something that you spend an awful lot of time learning about when you work in the professional kitchen. Well, if you work in a good one, some places just buy them all now. But anyway, enough shade. Let's get on with it. So all meat stocks require meat and usually bones. So my favorite thing to make chicken stock with is chicken wings, because a chicken wing has inside it everything you need in a chicken to make a delicious sauce. You've got meat, you've got lots of bone, you've got connective tissues like collagen, cartilage and all that bits involved, and lots of skin to caramelize in the oven. So a chicken wing is almost kind of like a whole chicken but small, like a micro chicken. I also like to add dried mushrooms to my stocks, especially if I'm doing like a dark roasted stock like this is. These bring great color, but really crucially they bring this most amazing umami, savory, delicious character. You don't need loads, just a little handful. Goes a long way. Fantastic. Also got herbs. Herbs are so important. So we've got thyme, lovely, lovely, lovely fresh thyme. Roasted chicken and thyme. Oh my God, so nice. Lots of bay leaves. So we've got about 6 bay leaves here. Got some parsley, some kind of old parsley that was knocking around. There's some rosemary in the garden that I'm gonna go and fetch in a minute. And then we wanna add a few spices. So Christmas, lots of spicing going on. I really like to lean into that. So if you add a couple of star anise to your stock, really nice. Lovely kind of top anise notes. You're gonna back that up with some fennel seeds. Really, again, I love fennel seeds, I put them in anything. And then some cloves, which are more kind of aligned with like mince pies and bread sauce and all that stuff. Super strong, you don't need loads of these. We're gonna do a little bit of brandy and then a little bit of red wine just for this. I always cook with, this is the end of a bag of wine. I always have bags of wine in my kitchen for cooking with. You can make stock with water, and for the most part, that's what stock is made with water. But because it's Christmas and we want to get ahead and make the most amazing, rich, delicious, intense stock and gravy, we're going to use pre-made stock, so really nice, good quality stock that you've bought from the shops. We're going to use that instead of water. So what we're making is called a double stock. So it's double the flavor. There's already loads of gelatin, rich caramelized flavor. So we're just doubling down on everything. First up, we need to roast these bones. You can make 2 types of stock with chicken bones. You can make a blonde chicken stock, or you can make a brown chicken stock. The only difference between those 2 things is whether you cook the bones or not, whether you roast the bones. And if you roast the bones, I mean, it's the difference between eating a piece of poached chicken and a piece of roast chicken. One is kind of like crispy and caramelized and has covered in mild reaction. And the other one is more subtle and gentle and kind of more subdued. It's a different flavor profile. So we want roasted for Christmas. So this is 1.5 kg chicken wings onto a tray. Spread them out. You want them in a nice even layer. And you're gonna add a little bit of oil. You don't want loads. There's lots of fat in these. You don't have to go crazy. And then again, a little bit of salt. Now, when you're making stocks, and sauces, you've got to be really, really careful about how much salt you're adding to things because of the reduction process a bit down the line. So if you add salt to your stock, to your wings, to your veg, and you infuse it into your sauce and then reduce the sauce, it's less volume, but there's all the salt still in there, so it's very, very, very salty. So I just add a little bit of salt to these guys just to help them on their way. And I want them to kind of catch on the tray and to build a kind of fond on the bottom that we're gonna get off the pan later. The more surface area, the better. More surface for caramelization, and then also the quicker it'll infuse into your stock. All right, so these are gonna go into a 220-degree oven for about half an hour, 40 minutes, till they're very, very dark. So the veggies, I just wanna get them peeled and then sliced really thin on a mandolin again. Woohoo! And then you want to roast those in the oven as well until they're just caramelized, nothing crazy. More thinner the slices, the more surface area. Whoa. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna make a bouquet garni. Do you know what? You don't really have to do this. I just like doing it. Tying up herbs makes me feel really chefy. Do you know who'd love this? Adam Byatt. He'd tie his herbs up. Comment down below, Adam. Please. A little bit of color, but they're just starting to caramelize and roast and get going. So they're nice and hot. These are gonna go into our pot. Celery, garlic, carrot and onion, all in there nice. These are our chicken wings. See that? Nice and golden. That is a beautiful, if you were to toss these now, I think oven roasted chicken wings are pretty underrated. If you were to toss these with some buffalo sauce right now, some butter, cut to us making hot sauce with butter, oh, that was so nice. Toss them with that, I mean, delicious, lovely chicken wing. But what we're gonna do is take all of this flavor and stick it in our gravy. So, these are gonna go in here. Don't worry about all this business. We're gonna get that's a little bit of fat in there. And do you know what? It's Christmas, I'm getting it into my stock. If you wanna make like a real fancy sauce, you would probably get rid of that, but I'm not. I'm gonna get it in there because it's all flavor. You skim impurities and fat from your stock as it's cooking. So you get a very, very pure expression of all of the ingredients. However, we are making, it's Christmas and we're making stock and sauces at home, so don't fucking worry about it. Get it in there. It's funny because then they make some sauces like a jus gras, which basically means like it's got fat in it, and they add the fat back in. It's all just you know, old rules. So there's lots and lots of flavor left on this tray. It's what you would call fond. And you see how it's not burnt, it's just like beautifully golden brown. That is absolute gold dust. So to the stove, little bit of heat underneath. Add your brandy. More wine to hit, because we want more. In fact, I'm gonna finish this bag. Whoop, all done. And you wanna scrape all the flavor off the bottom of this tray. Flavor, going in, yeah? And then you can do this, I mean, so I often go a couple of passes at this, because you don't always get it all off in one. But you want to try and get as much off here as you can, because every single little bit that you get off is flavor. In you go. I remember making stocks at restaurants and just having like 15, 20 trays like this, but like they're huge. Just endless deglazing. And like passing stocks, and it's like a fucking meat sauna. It's gross. We're gonna add stock. So this is just some nice shop-bought chicken stocks, fresh. It's not made out of like a powder or bouillon or anything like that. It's got proper stock. See, it's like gelatin and it's all thick and delicious. That is going to help us when we're reducing our sauce later. Give everything nice body. Big bundle of herbs going in. You need I like to use a lot of herbs, you know, because so much flavor in there. They give such an amazing savory aroma to everything you're cooking at Christmas. 6 bay leaves. Give them a scrunch, always give them a scrunch before they go in. Break them open a bit. The mushrooms dried in. Pinch of fennel seeds. I reckon we're gonna go for 4 cloves. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're a bit smashed up, but that's about 2 star anise. Cool. And finally, a little bit of a teaspoon of peppercorns. That is gonna make a really delicious stock. So now, make it hot. Pop a lid on. Medium heat, bring it to a boil, turn it right down. 2, 3 hours, done, okay? See you then. Right, so the stock has been bubbling away for about 3 hours. And now, it's time for step number 2, which is, ooh, baby, look at that. We need to pass off the stock. Pass just means get rid of the lumps, the solids. I mean, if the top shot's getting that. Color of this, wow. Now, you're gonna stand here and ladle this stock through this sieve into this clean pan. And then we're gonna, once we've done that, bring this to a boil and reduce it through. A really, really beautiful, rich, delicious, dark stock like that, okay? Should we have a taste? Let's have a taste. Really, really delicious. Complex, it's rich, it's dark, it's full of body, it's full of flavor. The wine and the brandy have done their work. I mean, it's really, really delicious. And I don't think, actually, we're gonna have to reduce this by very much. Cool. Right. Are you ready? It's not crazy thick, but I didn't expect it to be. But it's full of flavor, and it's really beautiful color. And what I wanna do now is just thicken it. There's a little bit of fat on here. I don't really mind that. I kind of like that. If you want to skim it off, you can skim it off. So the point is with the reduction, the flavor is where we want it to be. You've probably noticed that next door to my pot of stock is a pot of Bisto. It's actually a very, very good way to thicken your gravy. You don't follow the recipe here, so just add boiling water. All we're doing is adding a delicious stock. This has flavor, it carries flavor of its own, and if you use too much of it, it'll end up just tasting exactly like this. But it's kind of like adding Marmite to something. It's really, really savory, this. And it's got a little bit of salinity to it, so it will season the stock a little further, but more importantly, all of the starch in here will thicken the gravy. And you just whisk in a little bit of this. Bring it up and it'll thicken. And then it's just the finishing moves. Did I get it everywhere? Yeah, nice. Really, really delicious. So, the final touches. If you want to get really, really fancy, you can infuse this again with fresh herbs. So you drop some nice sage in there, some more thyme, almost like a last, final, really fresh infusion. That's really fancy, you don't need to do that. But what I would recommend is buying a really lovely bottle of vinegar. This is a vermouth wine vinegar. You could get a lovely sherry vinegar. Sherry vinegar is really good for this. You want a kind of sweet and sour, really high quality vinegar. This is from Bella Zoo. And you just want to add a tiny little drip. And this will give your gravy some real balance. That much will just give this the most amazing balance and zing. Really rich, really savory, really chickeny. It's the perfect texture, not too thick, not too thin. Balanced, it has layers with the wine, the brandy. the good stock that we added in, we made that double stock. You know, this is a pretty all-round, this is an all-rounder. This wants to go with pretty much everything. Wants to go with your turkey, with your potatoes, with your stuffing. And that's why we've got a big old pan of it. And it's not super, super rich, not overly reduced, not too sticky. It's a one you can eat a lot of this and you'll have a really lovely time.